Hello, welcome back to my channel, Callie's Kingdom. For those of you who don't know, I will be going to college in a couple days, which is crazy, and it's a college in a different state, so I've been packing up a lot of my stuff, and that means that I'll also have to pack up a lot of my books. Well, this might be a little bit overboard for what people would normally bring to college, especially since people say you don't have as much free time or anything, but I need to bring some books, and I need to have some options. So the next time I'm going to be able to come home to my house is going to be during our Thanksgiving break, which is in the middle of November. And accounting for all the weeks there, if I average about a book a week, I know, oh my gosh, this is such like an engineering major thing to do, to calculate how many books I need to bring and my average and everything like that, but that's just me. So to calculate the average number of books that I read during the school year, during normal school it's normally like 6 days, 5 to 6 days. During the summer, it was around 4 days. But during college, I'm going to assume that since I'm going to have less time, I'm going to give myself a book a week. So it will be 11 weeks while I'm out there before I come back here. So that would be about 11 books. So I was trying to find 11 books, but then I really have 12 here. So, oh well, just in case, you know. But I have this big stack of 11 books. Well, you can't see it all, but it is very, very, very big. So we are going to get into it, and I try to do books of like different kinds to see what different mood I am in. But the first one is very high fantasy. So I read the other three in this series like earlier this year, I think January or December last year, and I wanted to read the next book, but then I kind of got very bogged down by a lot of fantasy, so I wanted to take a break from like the super high fantasy world. But in case I just want to get into it and escape into a world again, because I've been feeling more of the itch to like read this series again, I have the Crimson Crown, which is the 4th book in the Demon King series. I have them back here. I kind of rearranged the top of my bookshelf so it looks like all the stacks are shorter, because all these books were somewhere on my bookshelf before, so I had to rearrange to make it look nice and presentable while I'm gone. But this is a very long book, 597 pages, so this should be good for a while. Probably will take me more than a week to read this. But, so that's the first book, and that is the other one that I just added on at the end, because I had all these, and then I was like, wait a minute, I need to bring this too! So, and then in a very, very different vein, I have What Happens After Midnight, which is a contemporary romance, which I think this sounds so fun. It's about like these people who have to perform a senior prank, and there's like the jester, which is passed down year to year to like a different person, and then he or she can create a team of students to help with the prank. So the jester ends up being this girl's ex-boyfriend, but she signs up to try and be on like the jester team, like responds to the email or whatever, and then she gets there and she's like, oh my gosh, it's him. So it's kind of like, and the prank has to do with stealing yearbooks from the person and like creating a whole scavenger hunt to them, which sounds so fun. But the person who's in charge of the yearbooks is this girl's current crush, so it's kind of like a love triangle between all of them, and it sounds so fun. And it's also like during school. I mean, it's the end of high school in here, but I think it would be fun to read. Just a fun, nice, easy book to read during college while I have a lot of classes, so that's What Happens After Midnight, in a very different vein from this book. But I read another book by this author, and it was so fun. It was called The Summer of Broken Rules, and I rated it 5 stars. So hopefully this one will be just as good. And then in a totally different vein, we have Then She Was Gone, which is a thriller that I got for $2 if you saw my last video. I'm very proud of that fact. But it's a thriller that basically this woman, her daughter goes missing years ago, and then she sees a man, or like she meets a man, and he has a daughter that looks exactly like an older version of her daughter. So it's kind of like mystery thriller like that. I heard that Lisa Jewell is like a very prominent thriller author. So hopefully this will just be a fun, fast-paced thriller read for college when I'm in the mood. And then this book I've never heard before until I saw it at a library sale, and it's so intriguing. It was only $2 again, and it's called When, and I think it's kind of like, I don't know what you'd categorize it as, fantasy, paranormal, something like that, I don't know. But this girl, she can basically see the date that people die above their heads, and she's helping her mom's like kind of like psychic, like business and everything with that, which is kind of freaky. Like, it's her psychic business. Does she tell people when they die because her daughter can see that? But I don't know. It sounds so intriguing, and I've never heard of this book before. But the more that I see it on my shelf, the more I'm like, I really want to give it a try. And yeah, so lots of different books. And then there is Gallant, which me and my friend got at the same time. It is so pretty. Like, it is by V.E. Schwab, which I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by her and absolutely loved. And we both got this when we were on the senior trip, and I want to bring it and then have like a little book club discussion thing with her. I don't know, maybe we'll do something on here. Film a Zoom screen. I don't know. We'll see if we have time, or maybe we'll just talk together. But we both have this book, and I think it's like it's kind of like a fantasy, but it's kind of like what is it called? Does it say like there's a mysterious man, or a gothic fantasy. So again, these are all very different books for very different moods that I might have when I'm in college. And then another different thing is Once Upon a Broken Heart, which is fantasy romance. It is in the same world as Caraval, and I'm excited to get back into that world, to get like a whimsical escape and see what happens with this guy named Jax. Well, he's not really a guy, he's a fate. It's kind of like gods, but like not. They're in this world, there's like the fates. And he was in the other series, but now apparently he has a love interest in this one. So I'm very interested to see what that is like, because he was such an interesting character. And yeah, if I'm in the mood. Also, the spine is so pretty. I love displaying that spine. But also all the covers are pretty. Like, I think this cover's pretty, but the other one, I think it might be the UK one, is pretty as well. But this is a whole trilogy, so I might have to get myself into a whole trilogy in college and end up ordering more, which is also why I was like, I should only bring 11 books. And then I was like, no, I should bring 12. Actually, at first I think I was going to bring 10 because I knew I'd probably buy another one or two, but I honestly don't know where I'm going to store all of these, but come along for the ride and we'll see, because this is probably one of my last videos. It might be my last video filmed in this setup, and then you'll see my little dorm room, which is probably going to be pretty small. And I don't know, I'll probably go down to like one video a week when I'm in college, probably on Sundays, so I can focus on like uploading that, but maybe we'll see. And then I have the Graceling, which is another fantasy about these people who have like graces, which is different powers almost, and her grace is like the art of killing people, so she's really good at killing people. And that's all I know, but the cover is really pretty. I know that this book series has been out for a while, but they recently got new covers, and I think the covers are so pretty. And there's like other ones, and I don't know if they follow the same characters, but I think that it's like, there's the sequel, it might be in the same, I think it's in the same world, but I don't know if it's the same characters, and then there's the prequel. And then I don't know what the other ones are. Maybe there's 2 sequels, and maybe then there's 1 prequel, because there's Winterkeep, Fire, and Bitter Blue. Which, wow, imagine just naming your book Fire. Like, fire. Or, like, snow. Like, I don't know. It's just, like, a word. Which I guess is what most books are, but it's kind of, like, a very commonplace word. But, yeah. And then we have Sorcery of Thorns, which I think will be so fun to read during fall. I've heard a lot about this book, and I got it at Goodwill for $2. Yay! Saving money. But it's such a pretty cover too, but I heard that there's a magic library that this girl has to protect. That's really all I know, and I heard that it's perfect for fall, so yeah. And then there's another fantasy. I have so many fantasy because I just love fantasy, but there's Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. I don't think I was saying the authors for the other one. I don't know why I randomly started that for this, but it's such a pretty cover. It's like purple, which the purple does not match my dress in any way, but still, I'm wearing purple, this is purple, you know. But I think it's like 2 different people. It's kind of a romance in here too, but there's this one girl, and I think she's kind of like a Robin Hood, where like she steals these like kind of vials where they have the cure for a disease, which kind of reminds me of a different book series I read when I was little called Legend and Prodigy, and there's a third one too, but where a guy named Day steals the cures, but that one's dystopian. This one's like fantasy. And then I think it also follows, or like this guy's prominent who's like the prince, and he like has to stop her from stealing it, but then I don't know, there's like some romance too. I honestly don't know a lot about most of these books. I just know like the bare facts, and I'm like, that sounds good. So, and then I have another thriller because sometimes I'm just in the mood for a good thriller. This is called Four Found Dead. I read another book by this author, Natalie D. Richards, called Five Total Strangers, and it was pretty good. I think it was the first thriller that I ever read. So I saw she had another one. She actually had a few other ones when I went to Barnes & Noble, and I was like, I need to pick up one of these. So I think this movie theater is closing, and then, like, someone is found dead, or 4 people are found dead, or maybe 4 people died throughout the night. But I don't know, it's like a young adult thriller, so we have that. And then I have 2 hardcovers. I guess one is definitely technically a hardcover, but it's like smaller. These ones are big. So I was like, I don't really want to bring that many hardcovers, but I'm excited for these stories. So the first one is the Atlas 6. I've heard a lot about it, and also my friend got it for me for my birthday, and it has a pretty inside to the cover. And I've been wanting to read this for a little while. I think it's about these 6 people, and they have to go through these trials to see, like, which 5 of them, or maybe only one of them, it's one of those things, will, like, be able to be in charge of this. I think it's the Alexandrian Library. Let me see. The Society's Elusive Invitation of Alexandrian Society. Yeah. Is there the Chosen? So it's only one. So they're all kind of like vying for the power. And I heard it was really good. So I'm excited to read it. And then I have These Violent Delights, which is Juliet and Romeo, like, retelling, but in Shanghai, and there's magic, and that's really all I know. But it also has it's pretty under the cover. So, yeah. So these are the books that I'm bringing to school. There is a lot, that is true, but I love reading. Although I have a lot of hobbies too, like journaling and bullet journaling, and who knows what I'll have time for. But it's better to be prepared than not prepared. It's better to be safe than sorry. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm not sure what my roommate will think when I come in with all these books, but maybe I'll just put them in a storage cart. Although it would be so pretty to, like, have a little, there's like the desk, and then there's like a little tiny shelf on the top, but I don't know if it's big enough to, like, put books on. But if it is, I might, like, put some books on. But maybe I'll have to put them on, like, this way, like, facing forwards. I don't know. I'll figure it out. You'll see sometime, hopefully. Hopefully I won't be too busy to film any videos. But thank you for watching and watching the last video on this setup. It's so sad, I know. But I've had such a fun time filming videos here, and I'm going to miss my room so much. To be in a little cramped dorm room, but it will all be for the best. If you didn't know, I'll give some facts. I'm going to a school called Rose-Hulman. It's in Indiana. And I'm going to be an engineering design major, which is a very unique engineering major where you get to, like, focus on the design aspect of engineering. And I'd say it's most similar to, like, mechanical engineering, because you're dealing with, like, stuff that are, like, moving, or, like, the design aspects, other than, like, something like electrical or, like, computer or something. But I think it's a little bit of a mix of a bunch. It sounds really cool. And I get a personal project by the end of the year, so to let you in on a little secret, I wanted my personal project to be, like, basically a bookshelf, but since I have not a lot of room in this bookshelf, like, one that you can kind of rotate forward, so you have, like, a stack of books in the back or something, like, on a little shelf, and then, like, something in the front. Kind of like, I came up with this because on this shelf, I have 2 rows of books, like, there's books behind these books, and I can never get back to them. So it works for that shelf, because those are my middle grade books that I don't need to get back to, but it doesn't work for the other shelves. So I was thinking that I could make, like, some little bookshelf that can go maybe beside it. I have a little bit of space beside here where I have my little fox, Squishmallow. And then I can, like, rotate it, kind of, like, have that aspect, or, like, maybe, like, swivel it around, but somehow be able to have books in the front and the back, and be able to, like, easily get to both of them, and make it, like, very, like, it will lock in place and keep the books safe. And yeah, so maybe I'll do a video on that come the end of the school year, but that's my idea right now. I might come up with other ideas though, so don't hold me to that. I'm not saying I'm definitely doing that, but it'd be fun to do. But yeah, so these are all my books, and stay tuned for the next video whenever that will be. It will probably be in my dorm. I'll probably do the wrap up of, like, July, which has been, not July, what? August, which has been such a good reading month, and then maybe I'll do, like, a September TBR, but I might only do 1 video a week, so who knows when you'll hear from me next, but bye!